at our games screaming and having the time of their lives. A lot of them, when you go up to them, just start crying, or it's it's cute, but also I was just in their shoes, you know, however many years ago.
Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball, has been dominating headlines since the day she stepped into the WNBA. But now, there's a new debate stirring online.
How about this? Yeah.
Golf fans are saying, hey Caitlin, maybe you should have gone pro in golf instead. Why? Because according to some, the golf world treats its stars better than the WNBA does. So what's the truth here? Is the WNBA actually underappreciating Caitlin Clark, or is golf simply built differently when it comes to how it celebrates its athletes? Let's break down the money, the fame, the respect, and the reality, and you decide. Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. Before we even talk about golf, we have to understand how Caitlin Clark became the story of modern women's sports. From Iowa's arenas packed to the roof to breaking NCAA scoring records, Caitlin wasn't just a player, she was a movement. The moment she entered the WNBA as the #1 overall pick, ticket prices spiked, viewership doubled, and arenas that used to be half empty sold out. She didn't just elevate her team, she elevated the entire league. But here's the twist. Despite that, not everyone in the WNBA welcomed her with open arms. Physical fouls, cold post-game handshakes, even subtle shade from veterans and the internet noticed. So, the question people began asking was simple. If Caitlin Clark brought this kind of money and attention to any other sport, say golf, would she be treated the same way? The land of respect, luxury, and big paychecks. Let's talk about golf for a second. The LPGA women's golf may not dominate headlines every day, but it treats its stars with royalty-level class. Top golfers like Nelly Korda, Lydia Ko, and Brooke Henderson earn millions in endorsements, travel first class, and receive brand deals with Rolex, Nike, and luxury car companies. They're celebrated as icons, not criticized for their spotlight. Imagine Caitlin Clark walking into that world. A player with her poise, discipline, and fan base, she'd be the face of the LPGA overnight. And here's where the comparisons start heating up. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's base salary is barely $76,000, the same number that raised eyebrows across social media.
Garnered a hell of a lot of attention. A ton of attention. Caitlin Clark, he'll run it back at the LPGA event. WNBA star will compete.
Meanwhile, top LPGA players can make that much in a single weekend. So, let's ask the real question. Is it about respect, or is it about money? Because in sports, those two things are often deeply connected. Media spotlight. Who gets the love? Here's the funny thing. Both golf and basketball rely on media coverage to stay relevant. But the tone is very different. When golf stars rise, they're praised for their elegance, professionalism, and composure. When Caitlin Clark dominates, she's often criticized for being too confident, too flashy, or too emotional. Why the double standard? Is it because golf has a reputation for class and tradition, while basketball, especially the women's game, still fights for equal respect? Think about it. If a golfer celebrates with a fist pump, it's passion. If Caitlin Clark does it, it's arrogant. That's not just unfair, it's cultural bias. How golf handles rivalries versus WNBA drama. Let's talk about rivalries because sports need them. In golf, when two players like Korda and Ko battle it out, it's celebrated as competition. Both players get more fans, more coverage, and more deals. But in the WNBA, when Caitlin Clark faces off with Angel Reese or A'ja Wilson, it turns into drama. The narrative shifts from skill to attitude. So here's a question for you watching right now. Why do we love rivalry in golf but call it controversy in basketball? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this might be the heart of the problem. Sponsorships and the power of image. Here's where the business side kicks in.
So you might remember at the end of Caitlin Clark's basketball season, the WNBA Rookie of the Year said, I'm going to go and become a professional golfer in the off season. She made sure to mention in the Women's Leadership Summit today.
Caitlin Clark has landed major endorsements. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, all within her first professional season. But even with that, she's earning far less than what a similarly famous golfer would. In golf, branding is everything. Players are treated like walking billboards for luxury lifestyles, calm, clean, and corporate. In basketball, players are often typecast into stereotypes, too aggressive, too outspoken, not marketable enough. And yet, Caitlin Clark is breaking that mold. Her brand screams authenticity, not perfection. That's why Gen Z connects with her. She's real. So maybe she doesn't need golf's treatment. Maybe she's rewriting what respect looks like, one crossover at a time. The pay gap reality. Let's get honest about the money again. The WNBA's average salary hovers around $120K. Top players might reach $250K if they're lucky. Meanwhile, top LPGA golfers like Nelly Korda earn $5 million per year, not even counting sponsorships. Is that fair? No. Is it surprising? Not really, because the system itself is different. Golf is individual, your wins are your income. Basketball is team-based, your salary is tied to league revenue. But here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark has already boosted WNBA revenue massively. So, shouldn't the rewards catch up too? Tell me in the comments, do you think Caitlin should be paid like an LPGA star since she's doing just as much for her league? Fan culture and respect. Another huge difference? Fans. In golf, crowds cheer respectfully, silence before swings, applause after shots. In basketball, it's loud, emotional, and sometimes hostile, especially online. Caitlin Clark deals with thousands of opinions daily. From love to hate, every move, every expression is analyzed. Golfers get admiration, Caitlin gets judgment. But maybe that's also her power. Because where golf protects its stars, Caitlin Clark provokes conversation. And in today's digital world, conversation equals relevance. Golf structure versus WNBA's struggles. The LPGA has built a model around longevity. Players can compete into their 40 seconds, make millions, and stay brand ambassadors for decades. The WNBA, on the other hand, fights for visibility every season. But Caitlin Clark might change that permanently. Her presence is forcing sponsors, networks, and fans to invest more. In a way, she's building the WNBA into what golf already has: a financially stable, globally recognized platform for women athletes. So maybe this whole debate isn't about whether golf treats stars better. Maybe it's about how Caitlin Clark is forcing basketball to evolve. Public perception, the double standard in action. When you see a golfer in a press conference, it's calm, polite, predictable. When Caitlin faces the media, every answer gets dissected, twisted, and debated online. That's pressure, but it's also power. Because controversy sells. And Caitlin Clark understands that balance perfectly. She knows when to smile, when to compete, and when to stay silent. That's not just athletic maturity, that's brand control. Would Caitlin Clark fit in golf? Here's a thought experiment. Imagine Caitlin Clark swapped her basketball for a 9-iron. Would she dominate the course? Probably not right away, but would she dominate the attention? Absolutely. She's got what golf has always lacked: electricity, the energy that turns casual viewers into lifelong fans. Maybe golf could use a little Caitlin Clark. The real question. So, back to where we started. Is golf's treatment of its stars better than the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark? Maybe financially, yes. Maybe publicly, yes. But in terms of cultural impact, Caitlin Clark's already miles ahead. She's building something that money can't buy: legacy. Because while golf celebrates silence, Caitlin Clark thrives in noise, and that's what makes her unstoppable. At the end of the day, this debate isn't about golf versus basketball. It's about how we value greatness. Golf rewards tradition. Basketball rewards evolution. And Caitlin Clark? She represents both. So here's your question. Do you think Caitlin Clark deserves more respect, or is she already redefining it her own way? Drop your thoughts below. Best comments get featured in the next video. And if you love this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here, we don't just talk sports, we talk the stories that shape them.